to empower women, and our voice matters.
Bitch.
Welcome to the Mom Bench Podcast.
This episode of the Mom Bench Podcast is brought to you by btrnation.com. Hey there, amazing mamas. Are you ready to spice up your snacking routine and add a dash of fun to your day? Get ready to rock your taste buds with BTR Nation. Imagine this. You are juggling a million mom tasks and suddenly hunger strikes. But fear not, because BTR Nation is here to save the day. If you go to btrnation.com right now, you can actually take a snack quiz. It is the coolest way to discover snacks that will make your mama heart sing. Are you fruity, chocolate, nutty, or maybe you're a combination of all of them like me? All you do is answer a few questions and voila, your snack perfection awaits. From protein-packed bars to guilt-free truffle cups and energizing boosting bites, BTR Nation has got everything a mama could dream of. And guess what? BTR Nation snacks are crafted with clean, wholesome ingredients, ensuring you snack like a mom boss and feel fantastic while taking on the world. Plus, did you know BTR Nation recently earned a spot on Forbes' list of 7 food and beverage brands positively impacting our planet and health with low sugar, low carb, low sodium, high protein, high fiber. So what are you waiting for? Head over to btrnation.com and enjoy, because we get 20% off and free shipping with code MOMBETCH. That's 20% off and free shipping with code MOMBETCH. Welcome, dear listeners, to another delightful episode of the Mom Bench Podcast. Pray allow me to extend the most gracious and heartfelt welcome to our cherished audience. Today, we are honored to have among us a guest of remarkable distinction, the ever-charming Miss Sophie Andrews. Miss Andrews, a layer of superior wit and keen intellect, has graciously accepted our invitation to join us in discourse. Her accomplishments are many, her insights profound, and her presence a true delight. Indeed, it is a privilege to have her with us today, and we eagerly anticipate the exchange of ideas and anecdotes that shall surely ensue. So without further ado, let us welcome Miss Sophie Andrews to the Mom Bench Podcast.
Welcome.
Hello. Hi. What an introduction. I think I'm going to have to ask you to send that over to me. I'll be using that in future, I think.
Really? So I pass.
Oh, yeah.
I pass.
I'm like, yeah, I'll take that. I think that makes me sound much more exciting and distinguished than I actually am. So yeah, I'll take that.
So for everyone that does not know Sophie, you live in Berkshire, England, and you are the queen of Jane Austen and Regency.
I mean, yeah, sure, I'll take it. Yeah. I've been a Jane Austen fan for quite a long time now, and I do somewhat embrace that and I suppose go the whole hog with it.
I mean, that's incredible. I told my mother-in-law, because she used to be the dean of a library for one of our universities here in Michigan. And I told her, I was like, do you have Jane Austen books? And she's like, come with me. And she had every single Jane Austen book in her collection. Wow. And I told her, I was like, I'm interviewing Sophie Andrews from England. She's like, no. She's like so excited for this episode because she's such a big Jane Austen lover. Aww. But I think what's so interesting is I feel like, did Jane Austen skip a generation? Because I feel like her literature is so rich, but you don't really see too many millennials read her.
I think she gets, let's say, a difficult kind of sort of like, I don't know. So for me, it started when I was at school and we were going to study Pride and Prejudice. And she's been on the syllabus over here for English exams for years and years and years. I think she's just about to be taken off, actually. They're mixing it up. So a lot of, the younger generation and millennials and everyone before that are introduced to Jane Austen at an early age. However, I think the issue is, unless you've got a really good English teacher, she's kind of sold to you a little bit as, oh, this is an old-fashioned author, you know, namby-pamby romance writing for women, middle-aged women and above, and which is completely not what she is at all. But I think, therefore, some kind of like teenagers can really get the wrong idea about Jane Austen, and then they sort of write it off, oh, this is boring. As well as there's a little bit of that, oh, well, you know, we've got to study this, so I shouldn't enjoy it kind of attitude when you're a teenager. And I think it can pass people by. And then I think they don't then rediscover it until they're older. And then they're like, oh, man, why did I not love this when I was at school? I think for a lot of people, it does pass them by for a little while. And people do tend to find Jane Austen when they are a bit older. Not everyone. So for me, she spoke to me when I was at school, and there are many others who are the same. But yeah, I think the school system over here does her a disservice.
Yeah, I mean, you would not like the United States school district system, because we were not introduced to her ever in any of our schooling, which is
quite, yeah.
Well,
I mean,
that's for another discussion, Sophie.
She's in the library, though.
Yes.
I think I got Sense and Sensibility, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I suppose she's an English author, and I suppose, did you tend to have American authors on your syllabus? So I guess it's that attitude.
Yeah.
But obviously, hey, maybe that will change with the popularity of Bridgerton. You never know.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's why we're here, season 3 of Bridgerton. So before we get into Bridgerton, can you give us kind of like the similarities and the differences between Jane Austen and Bridgerton? Because I feel like they're trying to bring Jane Austen, I mean, for me, I think particularly into this season, but just so that people know kind of like the crossovers between.
Yeah, sure. So I think, Julia Quinn, the author of the original Bridgerton books, which the Netflix series is based on, is a huge Jane Austen fan. And, you know, she doesn't try to hide that. But equally, they are not trying to be, you know, a historically accurate Regency era story. And I think if you approach Bridgerton thinking that was what you're going to get, you will be disappointed, because like when you're watching the Netflix series, all the costumes are very avant-garde and they're a lot bolder and brighter than they were 200 years ago. And obviously, you know, you got the sex scenes. That's not in Jane Austen. And just various other things, you know. So there's a lot that is very different to Jane Austen. However, there are also plenty of things which are similar. And I think even in the romance, which obviously in Jane Austen isn't quite so in your face in regards to that, you still have that like slow burn and the sort of gentle, you know, all the hands nearly touch and, you know, longing looks and all of that. And I think that's what people really enjoy about it. You get some of that in Jane Austen, and you get all the slow burn building up to the proposals at the end. And they do that as well, very well, in portraying that in Jane Austen adaptation, sort of very famously, the 2005 Pride and Prejudice. There's a whole scene with, Darcy helping Lizzie into the carriage. And Matthew McFadden, who plays Darcy, he then does like this hand flex. It's called the hand flex scene. And man, there's like t-shirts, rings, there's a lot. It's like, and you know, that really simple, but very like meaningful and quite powerful gesture. And I think that kind of subtlety is lost a lot in modern day romances. It's so much more. I mean, even go on the dating scene is nothing like that. Like, here's a picture that you didn't ask for and didn't want. So I think people have enjoyed seeing that in Bridgerton. Obviously, it then goes a bit further, and we get beyond the subtlety. So I think, but again, they have still got to preach to a modern audience. So I think they kind of do a bit of both. But I think you also have, similar to Jane Austen, you have really strong characters. They're really well fleshed out. Obviously for Bridgerton in particular, we're going with these characters across 8 novels, and so far our 3rd series in the Netflix series. So you're really getting to know them, and they're really well rounded. And I think you really get invested in the characters and all the different like plots that are going on. And similarly, Jane Austen's novels have really strong characters and you have the main plot, but then you've got, little side plots going on, and you just become really invested in the story. It's also been interesting to see how people who perhaps, Jane Austen had passed them by, they've, seen the hype of Bridgerton. Oh, historical romance. That sounds fun. Watched it, loved it. And then they have ended up, harking back to Jane Austen as, they've sort of gone, well, what now? It's finished. We have got ages till the next season. And then they've ended up back at, in a way, the source material, in Jane Austen. So it's been really interesting to see that transition, I think, and then see how people find Jane Austen compared to Bridgerton, because obviously there are stark differences. But no, I think it's great.
I mean, Bridgerton's like captivated like the whole world, right? Like there's passion, there's drama. Like I think my favorite are the character storylines. Like they're just so vibrant, each of them. I'm excited because today we're going to be exploring the key moments of each episode in season 3.
Exciting. Oh, I'm still reeling from watching it, if I'm honest. I loved it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Okay. We're going to have to dive into this.
For me personally, and I don't like to compare, right? Because each story, each season has its own story, right? Like we're growing with the characters, but like I try to go into it as like, I'm not going to compare this to season 1, season 2. But for me, honestly, season 3, if I had to, is my favorite. I don't know if it's because it's a bit more of an immature relationship, more so than when we saw with season 1 and 2, where it was just kind of like, I knew they were going to end up together. Like it was so clearly painted in front of me, like this is what it was going to go. Where this one, I think, fills my cup of tea because, cheers ladies, because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen in part 2. And that really intrigues me because I can see at the end them not being together. Or maybe they do.
So do you think if they would have like split the other seasons though, it would have been different for you? Like they did. This is the first time they've done this.
I do find it very interesting that they have made that decision to split. Mm-hmm. Having seen where they've stopped the story, where it finished, I can kind of understand it, as well as just, drawing it all out a bit longer, right. 2 months Netflix subscriptions, all of that sort of thing.
True.
But I think it is, it is interesting. But I have to say, I'm glad that where it did end, it was not an unhappy cliffhanger, because I think after waiting for that long, I would have been furious if it was like a really awful cliffhanger. Yes, there's like the preview of the next half is very drama filled, but at least, it was a happy ending,
How do you feel, Sophie, about season 3 so far?
I think similarly to you, it's hard to, you want to try and not compare. For me, I've always very strongly preferred season 2 to season 1. I think that might be coming from a Jane Austen perspective. Season 2 felt more Austen overall to me than season 1. And I think season 3, I need to see the second half, but it's definitely challenging. It's challenging season 2 here because I really, really enjoyed it. And I found, I suppose, we got to see Penelope more and seeing that progression. And I think a lot of it spoke to me being, I've grown up being a wallflower and being that one that's like, overlooked and not the prettiest and whatever. So I think I could really relate to so much of what was going on. So I think that might also be why I quite enjoyed it so much. And I think that always has a big effect. If you get a character that you can really resonate with, I think it does.
Pulls your heartstrings.
Yeah.
Sorry to bust y'all's bubble, but okay. I will say this. The carriage scene, yes, honey, 10 out of 10. I was here for it. My mouth was like, I'm like, okay, Pen, yes, honey, get it all. I just found it lacking. Like season 1 and season 2, it was like the love story I felt was more like pushed forward. It was the forefront of the series. And here there was so many storylines, kind of diluted it for me. It wasn't so much of the focus. And I wish I had more of Colin, like on his journey. Cause it was just kind of like, for me, it just felt kind of like all of a sudden he's like, I love Penelope, but like, how did we get there? Like they showed a little bit of it, but it wasn't like.
He kissed her. That's how he got there.
It was the kiss, but then he was just like, oh, I was tormenting. And like when he was writing in his diary, I feel like they missed an opportunity for them to like maybe get in his head, like he could be narrating while he's writing in the diary so he can see like why Penelope all of a sudden, because he ignored her and was rude to her before. So I don't know, maybe that's my own prejudiceness. I just don't, from Mean Boys, from my past, so I'm just kind of holding a grudge against him. That could be it.
I do know where you're coming from, and there are a lot of storylines going on. I knew, or I suspected, that there would be other storylines which they would be laying the foundations for, because knowing the books, certain things need to be happening in preparation for future stories. And it's kind of happened that it's at this point. So I can see why the whole Francesca thing is happening. And I loved that, actually. She was really cute. I loved her. I know exactly what you're saying. And I think also I suppose, whereas in season 1 and 2, it was the love interest, at least, brand new. And we hadn't, seen them before. It was all new. So we had that build up, very kind of intense build up, I suppose. Whereas in this one, Colin and Penelope have been kicking around since season 1. This whole sort of like, well, I would say will they, won't they, but Colin's oblivious. But will they, won't they, for Penelope anyway, has been, sort of bubbling away, which is why I can understand why they skipped over Benedict, who should have been next, and went to them, so that will they, won't they friendship sort of wasn't going to go stale. But I suppose that does make it very different to the previous 2 series in that sense.
There was a lot of like cat and dog chasing, I would say, in the first 2 series compared to this one. So I have a question for you. So Penelope Penn, this season is very independent. Like we're watching her grow her independence. How does that fit into Regency society?
So what I think, maybe that's another reason I love Penelope. I'm going to say like Jane Austen herself vibes. I feel like Jane Austen was a fairly independent woman, as much as a woman could be. It was obviously very difficult 200 years ago. But Jane Austen was very fortunate in the support she had from her family. I mean, she never married, but her family allowed her to do her writing, which again, like not really something a woman should be spending her time on, leave that to the men, And that as well, the fact that Penelope is writing Lady Whistledown, doing it all, secret on her own, Jane Austen published anonymously. And then also the Lady Whistledown is all social satire and observing everyone around you, which again, I mean, that is what Jane Austen is absolutely brilliant at. Just that's why her characters are so strong, because she is so good at observing human nature. And, it is often written about in the letters. Her sister would write how Jane Austen would just sit in a corner quietly and observe kind of people wanted people to forget she was there. So she could just observe, like, that's funny. I'm going to put that in my book. You're going to become a silly character. And I think in a way that is very similar to what Penelope's been doing. She's like, hey, well, I'm a wallflower being ignored, which after a certain point, Jane Austen would have been an old maid. She went, right, I'm not going to marry. So she will have also been ignored in the corner. And she's like, okay, well, I use this opportunity to just, listen to all the conversations people probably don't want me to overhear. And I think it's kind of a fascinating sort of parallel in a way. And it's definitely been nice to see more of that, as well as seeing Penelope's glow up and her, I suppose, growing in confidence. It's a shame, really, that the difference, I suppose, is Penelope really feels she does need to marry to escape her mother and sort of have that independence, whereas fortunately, Jane Austen was happy with, staying with her family. And I think Jane Austen didn't want to marry without affection. I think she was proposed to and she said yes, but the next day she went back and said, no, sorry, I don't love you, I can't. So, and that is very unusual and admirable for the time. So in a way, again, you've got that with Pen, like Pen was so close to going for Lord Dublin. And I think it was like, well, actually, this could work quite well. You're going to be off. I am independent. It'll be okay. But then actually deep inside, she's like, but I don't think I love you. And I think I do want a love match. So it is really interesting for the sort of similarities in characters. Jane Austen was real. Penelope is a character.
Yeah. I mean, episode 1, A Season of Change, right? Like, what were your guys' initial impressions of Lord Dublin?
I liked him.
I thought he was cute.
Yeah.
He kind of gave me this like Harry Potter vibe. Like he was just so like I just kind of see him.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of like walking through the halls, right? Yeah, like I think that he was casted so perfectly.
Yeah.
But my impression of his presence was in the beginning of the episode when he was introduced, I didn't really know where he was going to fit in.
Yeah.
Because they also introduced who we have to talk about for a quick second. Real life, her name is Hannah Dodd. And she was recasted as Francesca. Obsessed with her.
Yeah, she's brilliant. Love it.
Oh my gosh. Beautiful. I was like, who is this beautiful? I didn't even remember there was a Francesca Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Until she came across my screen. I was like, oh my gosh. But like, I was so like I was confused too. I was like, is this for Francesca? Is this for Penelope? But I do think that like the season wouldn't have been good without him. Like he really was like a connector, like a spider, if you will.
But I don't think he's not in the books.
No, he's not. No, he's not. I can understand why they added him, sort of for really spurring Colin on to be like, oh wait, hang on. You can't have Penelope. Actually, I think she should be mine. But I also think it was interesting, I suppose, in a way to reflect Penelope's character and sort of giving her the courage that it's okay to be herself and that herself is great. Where, because he was also, a bit of an outsider and considered probably, unusual with, the work that he does, and essentially he's a vegetarian, which to be fair would have been unusual 200 years ago. I think that was a really nice kind of, I don't know, almost mirror, or just the way he was, conversing with her. It was really nice and just gave her the confidence that, oh, hey, there's a guy here that likes me for being me, and I'm not having to pretend to be like my sisters or be like everyone else on the marriage mart. So I think he was a really great addition. I'm interested to see, Women's not over. I'm interested to see what might happen to him. I mean, Cressida was trying to go after him.
I mean, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Eloise and her new BFF.
And Cressida?
Yeah.
That wasn't in the books either, right?
No, in the books, we as readers and all the characters don't know who Lady Whistledown is until Penelope's book 4. And I think it is Colin that finds it out. And then we find out and blah, blah, blah. But in this, it's created a really interesting dynamic. And I've actually enjoyed the friendship between Eloise and Cressida more than I thought I would. When I saw it in the trailers, I was like, no, I was furious. But I think it's been nice because similarly to Penelope, Cressida's on her 3rd season, no husband, so very difficult. And I think it's been nice to see a little bit more behind the mean girl. I think she said herself in an interview, mean girls aren't born mean. They become mean. And I think Like her father is horrible, and the pressure that she's got to get married, it's difficult. And Eloise has also been saying, well, actually, some of the things you do, why are you doing that? It's not nice. And clearly, like, we know the fact that there was the gossip about Colin helping Penelope, and then it turned out it wasn't Cressida that told them. I was like, oh, okay. I 100% thought it would be. As soon as Eloise said it, I was like, no, don't tell it. Don't tell her. Don't tell her. But it wasn't her. So I think the influence Eloise has been really nice. And I've grown, a bit warmer towards Cressida.
I mean, was it really that big of societal expectations to marry in that era?
Oh, yeah.
Because the one thing that I thought was beautiful in this season is Eloise, Pen, Cassandra, they all have similarities is in that they just feel like there's a chosen path for them.
No, unfortunately, the importance of marriage is not to be underrated. I think because women had no power at all, like they didn't inherit anything. Like, it's why you needed a son and needed an heir, because women couldn't be very, very occasionally, powerful enough people have managed to pull strings, but very, very rarely. And you need marriage to secure your future. Even if you are, a lady of really good breeding and with a lot of money, you still need to marry to secure that. And the likelihood is you'll end up with some fortune hunter knowing that you've got the money. But because it is such a shame that is what women needed to do. Because if, Penelope stayed unmarried, with her mum, when her mum dies, she will be at the mercy of essentially her sister's sons or her sister's family. Yeah, her husband, and then hopefully their heirs that they were trying in an interesting way to get to find.
That was funny.
Pregnant, that was funny. And because she'd be out on the streets basically. I mean, that's the whole thing in Pride and Prejudice, is why the mother is like, you all need to marry because we have no sons, and when your dad dies, this house goes to your cousin. So it unfortunately, it is as important as it appears. And it's a shame, which is why it is neither Jane Austen or her sister married, which is very, very unusual.
How did you guys feel about Colin playing matchmaker?
It was a bit of fun. Like, they are good friends. They always have been. So he, knowing that Penelope, she'd done the whole, I'm changing my whole wardrobe. Those colors suited her so much better. And, I'm going to change my whole look. I'm really going to try and get a husband this season. I think he genuinely did want to help, because they are really good friends, and she knows how much, he knows how much she has struggled, and that she would like to have that independence that being a married woman brings. You're so much more able to be independent. Like, when you're unmarried, you've got a chaperone with you the whole time, and, if you go anywhere. So I think he genuinely did want to help. And I think, it created a couple of funny scenes.
Was this before or after they kissed? I don't remember. When he asked to help.
Before.
And then I think basically when it's discovered that happened, she storms out the ball, and then he ends up going around to check on her because she's not been out in society again. And then she's basically just desperate and is like, I'm going to die. And
did he offer to help because he kind of liked her? Or do you think it was strictly just friendly there? You don't think he really knew? Because he says that the kiss is when he figured it out.
It's hard to say, isn't it? I think...
Yeah.
Definitely genuinely would want to help, because I think that they are and always have been really good friends. Whether, subconsciously there was anything, who knows? But I think primarily it is the kiss that where he goes, oh, hey, actually, I think I enjoyed that, and made him kind of reevaluate, actually, maybe. I suppose because they've been friends for so long, it just never even crossed his mind to even think, do I actually like Pen in a different way?
So since we're talking about Colin, this is one of the things that bothered me the most about I think the Regency era, just, living back then, men like had the sexual promiscuity. Like you could do whatever you want. It was almost like when he was talking with his buddies, it was like expected. They talked about their concubines, who they've been with, X, Y, and Z. But women, I mean, we saw it with the sisters. They didn't even know how the hell you have sex. They didn't even know what it was. But it just kind of, it made me very mad as a woman, just to kind of see the contrasting between
different
men and women. Back then. And
it is, I think it was extremely difficult to be a woman. I mean, it still is often today, but like back then, the differences start. I mean, you even see that you saw that in season 1 as well, when Daphne was very much trying to ask her mum, like, what is this thing called sex? And she still didn't really say, and you had to learn it all. It is, whereas men were actively encouraged, even probably taken by their fathers to brothels and things to learn it. And then it was, absolutely no issue with them doing whatever they wanted on their grand tour, which Colin has done three summers, 3 grand tours now. He seems to go away every summer. And it is a complete inequality because girls go into it and it's completely like, oh no, we can't talk about that. Like it's way too, that's not, women shouldn't hear about all this. And it's not right at all, because it does mean that, poor women and girls, because people married so much younger then, are going into it and they have no idea. And as you say, it was really, I think that was something that was...
I have no idea. How scary.
Yeah, I know. And I think it was great how they highlighted that through the Featherington siblings.
Did women even enjoy sex? I don't even think that was a thing for women.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think, they showed that as well in Queen Charlotte with like Lady Danbury and her husband. Like it was very much a laid back and think of England kind of situation. I think that was really, it was funny, but also really made you think when the fact that, the Featheringtons, I mean, clearly the husbands are really dim as well, but the Featherington sisters were like, had no idea, basically, what she was doing. He was like, insert what? Where? What? It was just like, but it was like reality. And actually that's really sad and would be really scary.
And that was Portia, wasn't it? That was like basically saying like, you need to be married. You need the security. You're not marrying for love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Such a difference. Okay. So we're on episode 2 right now. And I really want to get into Francesca's story a little bit, because I was so delighted by her story. I mean, I agree with Camellia. It was a little hard because it was like, I just want to know what happens with Pen and Colin. But like you said, we're getting set up for future stories. What was your take on Francesca's story? Because I love her character. I was definitely not expecting that burst of energy in this season.
I think it's been, I think, and as well as setting her up for her story, I think it was important because basically we've not seen her. We need to know who she is. Like she was a little bit around in season 1, and then basically I think because the actress was busy, they said she was off at finishing school or whatever. And then so we need to know who Francesca is ahead of her own series. And I loved her. I think it was really nice to have a sibling who was so different to the rest of the Bridgertons, and sort of highlighting how difficult that is if you have a big family and you aren't like the rest of your family. So I think that was really nice. And she plays it so beautifully. I mean, she is stunning for one, and she just plays the character so beautifully.
Today's episode is brought to you by Make Mementos, the perfect way to keep your loved ones close no matter where life takes you. If you're like me, you are constantly juggling work, school runs, trying to keep up with family across the country, sometimes even miles away. Well, I've got something incredible to share with you today. It's called Make Mementos, and it's about to revolutionize the way you connect with your loved ones. Picture this: grandma, grandpa, they're living their best life in Florida. Wouldn't it be amazing for them to send your little one one something that truly makes them feel close, Make Mementos lets you record personalized ebooks and e-cards using your own voice and send them instantly to anyone, anywhere. And it's not just for grandparents. Whether you're a military parent stationed overseas or just want to share a special moment with your best friend's new baby, or even record your child reading their first book to save that memory forever, Make Mementos is the perfect way to make every occasion memorable. And here is the best part. There's no shipping involved. No complicated video chats to schedule. Just record your message, hit send, and let Make Memento work its magic. And for the entire month of May, Make Mementos has given us 15% off a recordable ebook or e-card with the code MOMLOVE24. That's MOMLOVE24 for 15% off a recordable ebook or e-card, and expires on May 31st at midnight Eastern Standard Time. So what are you waiting for? Head over to makemementos.com today and start spreading love and joy with the power of your voice. Make every moment count with Make Mementos.
The one thing I love about the Bridgertons is they really just do their own thing, right? Like, if they all seem to have one thing in common, love. And like how she's choosing her suitor for me was so adorable. It kind of reminded me back of season 1, like just like the innocence of like, I like you, I'm intimidated by you, I'm shy around you. I forget what his character's name is. He's the quirky one that she likes.
He is so sweet. I think the fact that they met and were both like, I was looking for quiet, and, you know, they've both got, you know, she just immediately was like, oh, I could like you because I think you're a bit like me and not like the most of the rest of, like, you know, the ton. And it's so sweet when he like gives her music rearranged, because she said that I'm a musician. So I was just like, that's so cute.
I was wondering when he was like, I'll be back. And then he just like squirts off. I'm like, I thought he was going to tell the band to like slow down and like do what she said, but then he just kept going. And I was like, okay, like this is cute. But yeah, when he came back with the music, I was just like, this is it. Like this is true love.
It just means so much more, doesn't it, than like bringing flowers. You know, she will, I think Francesca, as she kept saying to her mum, like, I'm not really bothered by a love match. She just also just kind of wants, I guess, her independence. She wants to be free of her family home, which is busy and crazy. And she's like, I want to make a good match, and I don't mind if there's no love. I just want to be comfortable, secure, and quiet, basically, which is really nice. And, you know, she did get chosen by the Queen. And then she was like, well, I'll go with whoever the Queen says, because that will probably be the best. So she's very practical headed, but it's been great that she's come across the Lord Kilmartin or someone. I can't remember his name. That's bad.
It is Kilmartin. That's it.
Kilmartin. Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Kilmartin. There you go.
For a second, I thought Pen was going to be the diamond because the Queen said, who is she?
I thought, I was like,
and then she was showing up, and when Pen was in Hunter Green with those red locks, I was like, whatever they say in Regency era, slay. Okay, like she looked phenomenal.
Good.
But now we're in episode 3. Like we're literally talking the middle of episode 3. This is when Colin starts to realize, right? He has that dream, which I thought was real. I didn't think it was a dream. You guys knew?
I was like, this is going to be a dream. If you thought, Camellia, that it was a dream, who did you think it was, though? Penelope or Colin?
Oh, I thought it was Penelope for sure.
You thought it was Penelope's dream. I thought it was real.
Mm.
Like, I, for whatever reason, was like, okay, we're doing this. And I thought maybe like we saw that one kissing scene and then we fast forward and like, but I guess looking back now, it wouldn't have made sense for them to give us that much.
Yeah, a little bit.
Did you think it was Penelope or Colin?
I actually thought, you know what, this could be Colin. I think because of like, you know, we saw his face during like the first kiss, and that, you know, there might have been time for him to it just be like really starting to dawn on him. And I thought that would be a good way of them showing, hey, Colin's tuning in here. And I thought, I was like, it could have gone either way, but I kind of suspected and hoped that it was actually going to be Colin. So I think that was good fun. I think it was good fun.
I'll have to share my reaction because I recorded during episode 3. And like, you'll see me, you'll see that I genuinely had no idea it was a dream, but it sounds like most everyone knew it was a dream.
I think interestingly, just a random factoid I'll put in there. That kiss scene, the first kiss scene, anything in that's considered in the Featheringtons' back garden, that was filmed down the road from me.
Really? So you can see Bridgerton filming?
Yes and no. Like it's a gorgeous property down the road called Basildon Park. And, I remember, I mean, it was ages ago now. I think all 3 seasons of Bridgerton have been there, and they put a little sign up, and you can tell, when it's Bridgerton. But yeah, it was quite funny. I was like, oh, that's Basildon. And I've been in that. I've grown up visiting there and run around that rose garden that they were in.
Oh, that's got to be so cool. So wait, so after they film and then you see that kissing scene, right, between Pen and Colin, and this garden's right down the road, did everyone just go and have a picnic the next day there? Like, do you think it's that well known now, or?
I mean, they will do it. I mean, it's been used as a filming location a lot. It's been in various Austins and those are things. So it's popular anyway to visiting, but I imagine they will have an increase, especially with like such significant scenes happening, in that bit. I think that will work to their favor.
How do you guys feel about the entire storyline between Cressida? I'm saying that right? Or is it Cressida? Cressida. Sorry. Cressida, Penelope, and Lord Dublin. I loved it. My deep, dark soul was like, get it, Pam.
It was funny. I mean, I felt for Pen because like she was doing so well, and then Cressida, her like ultimate enemy, is starting to. She was like, "Oh, for crying out loud, the one man that I might be able to get." And just that whole scene when she was like, "Yeah, I like grass," and it was just so awkward. But you could see in her face like, "Oh my God, I'm dying inside here." But you understood why she was trying not to lose it. But I think it was great that she then later on was like, yeah, sorry, I know that wasn't me. And he completely knew that wasn't her as well. Whereas what he liked in her was the fact that she was being herself initially. So then that was all not her. So that was really nice. And what clearly brought on the idea that he was very close to proposing to her. But no, that whole interaction was so funny. And then the balloon nearly flying away. I was like, heroic moment coming. Oh, look, yes, here we go. And then Cressida pulling the ankle stunt. Yeah.
I mean, how do we feel about Lord Dublin, though, in episode 3? Because it's like, yes, great. I felt like I was kind of torn because I was like, oh, Penelope, like someone is going to ask for her hand. This is everything that she wanted. I'm so happy for her to at least have the satisfaction that she's beautiful and she's worthy. But I started to not like Lord Dublin as much because he made it so clear.
Yeah.
This marriage is an arrangement and I will be gone. So I need someone that basically doesn't need me. Yeah.
Yeah. Same. I think I was more keen on him when I didn't know he was going to disappear for 3 years.
Right.
And be like, when she was very like openly saying, might this grow to love? And he was pretty much like, no. I was like, oh no, don't marry him. Like I really still liked him, but it's honorable that he was honest, but equally I was like, hey Pen, you deserve more than that.
I agree. I like the honesty. I'll give him that because what man, would really tell you that? He'd probably just trap you because he wants someone to watch after his castle while he goes and looks at birds for 3 years, So, and it probably honestly is going to be hard. His money is probably the anchor that will get him a wife, but who really wants to be alone for 3 years?
Arranged marriages are hard. They can be successful, but equally, I think Penelope, for example, she's grown up lonely. really, because she didn't really get on with her family. So then does she want a marriage in which she's going to be lonely, even if she's got that independence and, she gets to, do something unusual in that basically running his estate, which generally women wouldn't do. But I think, no, the loneliness, I think it would get to her.
Do you see a little bit of Cinderella in the dynamic between Penelope, her sisters, and the mother?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I thought that too, because they're so mean. And they're like, call her like fat.
It's like kind of like the stepsisters. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I thought that too.
I think in the books, they're not quite as mean as they are in the series. They're just generally a bit dim. However, she is very different to the rest of them. And she's got her mom who's dressing her in all these dresses and colors that she doesn't want to be wearing in. So I love that she was basically using her money that she had earned through Lady Whistledown, her money, to be like, right, screw you, mum. I'm getting a whole new wardrobe and I'm doing my own thing here. And I think it probably was easier for her to go and do that with the sisters removed and out the way, being married. But definitely some Cinderella.
Are we going to talk about Mama?
Yes, episode 4. Yeah, let's talk about her.
Mama Bridgerton. Let's talk about Mama Bridgerton. I love Mama Bridgerton so much. I think she's a fantastic mom and how she has so many children, but she really identifies their individualities and helps 100%. Them to prosper with that. And with Colin, 100% she knew it was about Penelope when he asked about Francesca, and she sought after him. She knew he was having a hard time and, try to prop it out of him. He didn't want to, but, she tried her really hardest. Loved that. I love with Francesca the same. With all her children. And can we talk about the fine man? The woman's, I forget her name, Danbury, the Lady Danbury.
Oh, yes, the brother. Yeah.
Oh, do we think that's going to happen?
Yes.
I think something will. I think we've got to find out why Lady Danbury and her brother, there's clearly history going on. She's not a fan. We've got to find out what that history is. But it would be lovely because, again, they alluded to the fact that she was getting to that point in Queen Charlotte of, I've been on my own quite a while. What was it? She did the whole my garden is blooming or something analogy, which was great. And I think it would be really nice for her to have something while she's watching all her, children do all this. Because I think that was one of the things I said to my friend actually when I was just texting a commentary along, was that I love how strong a connection she has to all her children, individually, and how she knows them so well. And that conversation that she had with Colin about him sort of essentially being a people pleaser, and that this season in particular, he's really put on armor to try and hide that a bit more, and that, be careful because you might get stuck in the armor and all this. And I was just like, oh yeah, she really does.
I mean, Colin is a wallflower too. And I feel like they came back and it was just like, boom, you're this handsome stud. But I thought that was probably my favorite part of the episode was between him and his mom, when he was like, yeah, exactly what you said. You'll get stuck in that armor. And he listened to his mom and he was like, yeah, you're right. I am not who I am trying to be or who people want me to be.
I guess that's something that I also really relate to, putting on a mask or something, pretending to be someone you're not to try and fit in. I went through my entire school, career, time at school, trying to do that, to try and fit in more and do what is expected of you. So again, I can totally relate to, because Penelope was doing that as well, this series, she was determined to get a husband. So she was changing everything. And she was in a way doing some things that were quite against her nature and her true character. So I think it was interesting to see them both doing that. Yeah.
Episode 4, ladies,
skip to the end.
We might as well just skip to the end. We'll just fill you guys in. Lord Dublin proposes, but then he asks Penelope, But
Well,
do
he
you
doesn't
love
propose.
him?
That's the thing.
Oh,
Oh,
he doesn't
that's
propose.
right.
He asked the mama. Yeah.
Right. He asked the mom, and he was going to, I thought, in that moment, but then he realized her eyes were locked somewhere else. Blah, 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 blah. Now they're on the carriage.
Colin came along, interrupted, and he was like, yeah, hang on, there's really something going on here.
Ugh. The carriage guys.
Well, they had to include the carriage scene because that was like one of
Because he's in shape now. He came back.
Okay.
Yeah, and like it's one of the most popular scenes in the book. So they had to include it and they had to do it justice. And yeah,
Was
they
it
did.
very similar? Did they have sex in the book?
Yeah, it was very similar. I think they do a little bit more than just kissing. Yeah. What was interesting was they flipped some of the lines in the book, some of the lines Penelope says, and they flipped them onto Colin, which was really interesting. But otherwise, yeah, it was very similar, and they did it so well. Like his declaration was so heartfelt and beautiful.
And let's get real, that needed to happen because he was in the shit house.
Yeah.
At least with me anyway.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think then I loved at the outfit they had all their very lovely, passionate scene. And you could really tell like that the two actors really got on as well. I think the chemistry was really there, really comfortable. And I love how like, when the carriage gets to the house and he's like, can't the driver just keep on driving? It really switched from like the passion to the immediate, like back to real, really good friends and like really relaxed and like, yeah, I just thought it was really, really nice. A really, really well portrayed scene and a lovely way to end.
I know. Have you guys read online? A lot of people were saying that it was awkward, that they didn't buy it. I didn't feel that. I didn't feel like it was awkward. Do you guys think it was awkward? A lot of people were saying that.
Really? Oh, I didn't feel that at all. No, I thought it was, no, I think I really felt it.
Yeah.
I thought, no.
People said it gave them the ick.
Really? No, I've not seen that.
Yeah, look in these discussion boards.
No, I think it was perfect.
I thought it was passionate and beautiful.
I thought so too.
The only thing that made me laugh was at the end. He's like, "So, are we gonna tell? Are you looking? Or
are you going to come with me? Are you going to marry me?
Right? Are you going to marry me?" And I was like, "Well, his family's not home. They're still at the ball. Like, where are they going?"
They arrived back at Colin at Bridgerton house. And yeah, he's like, "You're going to come in," and all this. And it was, because everyone else is, but still.
I had water in my eyes. That's how corny I am when he said that.
No, it was really sweet. And like the look on both their faces, like Colin was really like happy and Penelope just that,
like what?
Like, I mean, just the feelings that she's going to have had having fancied him for like ever, and the fact that just happened, like, no, you could not feel for it. No, I honestly, I didn't get any of that. I thought the scene was perfect, but I am very concerned for the next half.
I mean, let's wrap this up because the upcoming is the second half. We have 4 episodes that are coming, and I think we're going to find out the consequences of the secrecy. The
whole whistle down like plot is so different to the book. That's why it's like, I just don't know how it's going to play out because, as I say, the book is completely different.
I bet you they have to do it that way because if you read the book, then you just know everything that's going to happen. So they have to. Yeah, I mean, I'm really interested to see what happens when Colin finds out.
Because he had a right go at her, didn't he, in episode 1 or 2 about, if, that he would, absolutely destroy her and blah, blah, blah. And Eloise just standing there like, oh my God, I know who it is. What are you going to do?
Well, that's another part to it, right? Yeah. The family dynamic's going to change because Eloise now is going to have a sister with Penelope and they have a lot of unresolved issues.
Yeah, I think you saw a little bit of like when Eloise did go and apologize for the fact that she was responsible for the rumor or the news about Colin and her getting out. It was nice that she did go and kind of apologize, and there was a little bit. So I think it will resolve, but obviously, the fact that Colin doesn't know, and Colin does rightfully hold a lot of grudges against Lady Whistledown because, especially in season 1 with the the whole, or man, I've forgotten her name now, that he was wanted to propose to I've forgotten her name, who was pregnant, and that Lady Whistledown.
Oh, that's right.
And Lady Whistledown he was pregnant, and that basically messed all that up. So, and put him in a lot of there was a lot of scandal about that. Yeah. So he does have a lot of grudges against her, even if Penelope was doing it to help Colin, really, in that it would try and save the Bridgerton name, because it would have been a big scandal. Marina, that was her name.
Ugh, the complexities of love.
It's going to be interesting.
Did you guys realize what song was playing during the carriage scene, by the way? I just have to put this in there because I was so obsessed.
Everyone keeps talking about that. Something Pitbull something, but I don't even think I know the song, so it means nothing to me.
Yes! Pitbull with Neo from 2011. I'ma love you tonight. Give me everything.
I need to go and listen to the original because I don't know it. But yeah, I remember loads of people going, "What? It was this song?"
Yes, it was amazing.
It was good. I always love the Bridgerton covers, so I think they're fun. Yeah.
I mean, you have it. That is a wrap of season 3, part 1, and you will come back for part 2, right? I mean, we couldn't complete our season without you.
Oh no, on 100% I'll be back. I need to know whether Camilla's opinion of the season changes.
I mean, yes. I mean, same, because we were texting before and she was like, "Did you like this season?" I was like, "Absolutely." She's like, "I didn't." And I was like, "Wow, this is going to be a good conversation today." But before we go, I just have to end on this note, okay? That I purchased a new book.
You're probably very familiar with it.
Oh, look, it's my book.
Jane, Sophie Andrews, Bring Out the Inner Austen to Meet Life's Challenges. I loved it. I'm not a big book reader. I think I told you that. But this was like the perfect book for me. And it made me giggle and it made me smile. And I was like, this is like a book to give to someone, like a girlfriend's birthday, someone that's about to get married. It's just such a good read. You're a really good author.
Oh, thank you so much. No, it was nice to, I think because Jane Austen is still so relevant, you can kind of look to her for advice nowadays. And like the challenges that we face in everyday life are the same that they were facing 200 years ago. Money, relationships, family, it's all the same. Just, historical context is different. So I think, she's a good one to look to in the way that you see herself and her characters deal with life.
Yes. And it got to me in a day.
Yeah, she finished it in a day.
No, and I ordered it and it came next day.
Oh, right.
That too. And she finished it in a day.
I did finish it in a day. But I was like, this got so quick. I was like, how did I get a book from England so fast? So ladies, pick up the book on Amazon. Be More Like Jane, Sophie Andrews. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We cannot wait to do part 2 with you later this summer.
Yeah. See how everything resolves itself. There's so many storylines that I'm like, how are they gonna? Yeah,
I know.
So excited. Can't wait.
Women need to empower women, and our voice matters.
Bitch.